Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And got a good one for you today. So I'm at the Ritz-Carlton, and we're going to talk about something that so many people have written me about, and that is your bank safe? And before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And let's get into it right away. There's a great site called Seeking Alpha, and I love this for 1,000 reasons, but they really have great writers on there. They've got researchers for everything when it comes to investing and it comes to the economy, the markets, and banking. Now, they just did an analysis on is your bank safe? And they broke this down in such an ingenious way, and I'm going to leave the article below for you, but I want you to think about this. The bank that they tested this with and showed this in their article was Wells Fargo Bank. Now, I want you guys to remember back to June of this year when the banking industry was talking about what banks are safe. And one of the big four banks could be in trouble right now. And which is it? Who is it? Is it Wells Fargo Bank? Wow. Well, that being said, Seeking Alpha, they did this analysis on Wells Fargo Bank, and it's from everything from the balance sheet to their risk to their assets to the profitability, how much cash, everything. And then with this breakdown, they give it a score. Now, the score is basically between 0 and 100, and 100 being the best. 100 being the bank. If I could pick the perfect bank, they would be ranked at 100. Now, here's the fascinating thing about this, is that there's basically 4 categories that have 5 subcategories in each category. I'm not going to break that down for you and bore you how that works out. But the cool thing about this is that as they score these banks based on the loans that they have and how much cash and what they do for as far as banking, how they make money. Let's face it, Wells Fargo is known as one of the largest mortgage lenders in not only the country, but in the world. That's what their reputation is. So it's fascinating because they don't make all their money from mortgages. They make it from other things. Now, here's where it gets interesting. As you break down these scores, and you can read the article below, they give you a 1 to a 5. 1 means that you're subpar and you've got, a problem with your bank. And 5 means that you're well above the peer group, the other banks. And they compare these scores from Wells Fargo Bank to other banks. Now, here's the fascinating thing. Of all the banks that they've scored, there are banks that they know that they have risk. They look at certain guidelines and don't even give these people the time of day to offer a score. The lowest score that they've come up with was a 20 out of 100. Now, Wells Fargo, again, known for being a mortgage bank, but here's what's fascinating. They don't make all their money from mortgages. Their credit card loans, that's where they make the majority of the money. They make double the amount of the money from the credit cards, which is only 11% of the money lent out is credit cards. If that doesn't tell you how they're gouging us people with this, nothing will. So 11% of their income, 11% of their loans are credit cards. The majority are commercial loans, which floored me. I'm like, wait a second, aren't they mortgages? No. Commercial loans to individual small businesses, which right now, guys, it's not a good place to be right now, but here's where it gets sketchy, is that Wells Fargo has all these loans to foreign entities. And they've got billions of dollars to foreign banks and foreign companies that you cannot really verify the stability of right now. You just have to take the promise and that these people are going to continue to pay back. Now, think about this, guys. Check this place out. All by yourself. There's a conference going on here that I don't know what it is. But this is just beautiful. That's Dana Point over there. Really nice beach, really beautiful. But think about this. Wells Fargo has problems right now. And Wells Fargo's score is not that good. And this is the thing that we need to know is what other banks are in trouble right now? What other banks are not doing well right now? And the way that they've set this up is really ingenious because there's all these different sites that you can go to. There's American Banker, there's Safer Banking Research, which is expensive, but it tells you who the banks in trouble are. And this is something that people need to look at, people need to take seriously, because if you're going to leave money in the bank, and it says this in the report, and you're going to rely on the FDIC, that's foolish, because we don't know if the FDIC is going to be around in short order when the S hits the fan. So pretty fascinating stuff. I think it's great. What do you guys think about this? Because this gets compounded because another great article that I found from American Banker was how Zelle, do you have problems with Zelle? Are you having problems with bank fraud with Zelle and trying to collect money from clients with Zelle? This is industry talk. This isn't for you and I, us common peasants. This is designed so that we, are not in the loop in this, to say the least. But I have told you guys this. If you have any third-party payment system and you're the victim of fraud, the odds that you're going to get it back are going to be slim and none. Now the banking industry is talking amongst themselves as to how to tell you no, how to say, hey, listen, you're on your own for this stuff. You clicked on the text message, you agreed to these terms, and we're not going to cover you. That's horrific, guys. It really is sad that people are in this position right now. Is your bank safe? Do what you can do, guys, to check this out and research it. And once again, have multiple banks that you deal with. Have a way of getting cash out of the bank. Make sure that you have your money divested into different assets. I even think you should have different brokerage accounts, personally. I think you should have multiple brokerage accounts, multiple banks. That's just me. But they left the door open, so we're going to walk through this area. It's nice to be out here on a winter day, the pool area. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. I was the victim of a debit card that got, either dropped, stolen, whatever, but used by somebody else. And this is their organic garden up here too, the Ritz-Carlton. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. Let me know what you think about this. And, does this interest you? Will you check out your own bank? I'm going to say the least. But Wells Fargo, they're in trouble, guys. One of the world's largest banks that's got financial difficulties coming their way. So let me know what you guys think about all this. Hey guys, at the Ritz-Carlton, and ran into Bob Kudla, who wanted to go on camera again, and we start talking upstairs. And I said, oh, no, let me turn the camera on so we can start talking. And there's so much happening right now with the economy, with the stock market, with just everything, finances in general. And, my theme for this video, I started to talk about, is your bank safe, and the problems with banking. And you said, Dan, banks are going to get bailed out again, and which is sick when you think about TARP and what we went through in 2008 and how they just wrote checks to these banks. And then I was thinking about the airlines. They gave them almost $50 billion for the airlines, and I think they're going to write checks all over the place. But how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing good. Just so you know, just to be honest with you, I just walk around the Ritz-Carlton every day waiting to see Dan. So
okay, that's how that works out. But if you guys would have come to the party, for those of you that were invited, Bob was there having a good time.
And by the way, thank you. It was a beautiful party. This guy has a gift. Yeah, it was really good party.
Well, it's funny. People are like, you're really good at this party. I go, I run an event company, guys. I better be good at it. So
yeah.
Anyways, yesterday's video, I was talking about, stop lying to me, with all these financial institutions and big companies that are just telling us, oh, no, we're going to have problems later on. There's no recession right now. And right now you're seeing retailers that could potentially file bankruptcy during the holiday season. Right. You're seeing Walmart lie and say that their problems with sales and business right now are because of theft and theft rings, which is insanity. They've got inventory through the roof and people can't afford to buy things. And Jamie Dimon, oh yeah, there's strong headwinds again. And that guy goes from headwinds to hurricanes to things are bad. And the only one that was honest that I felt was, still kind of pushing it off was the CEO of Union Pacific talking about, hey, people aren't shipping what they used to ship. So, where do you see business right now, through the end of the year and the first quarter right now?
Yeah, so what's really happening here, Dan, is we're having what's called a bifurcation, meaning that things that people need are going up in price. That's where the inflation is. Things people want are going down in price because they have to buy the things they need. Mm-hmm. So that's why you see like Target. We told people a couple months ago to go short Target, and Target plunged. We told people to go short Airbnb. Airbnb plunged. In fact, hit our target yesterday. But at the same time, you're looking at food prices and energy prices. They're all holding up. We should really be at oil. Should be at $50 or $60 a barrel right now. It's still in the 70s, and we're still not producing enough energy. So it's going to be this way all the way through. Now, Christmas is, I think, when you talked about the retailers, is that inventory is stacked to the roof right now.
Literally
so we know people that own businesses that are basically, what happened in the pandemic, they overbought, and now they're stuck with inventory, and now they have to disgorge it. So after Christmas, if you guys want to do shopping, you should be rushing, because the Russian Christmas is going to get all the best deals, because anything in the apparel industry, swimwear, surfwear, I have friends in that industry that are brokers that are basically saying they stuff the inventory to the gills and they have to disgorge it. So wow. It's going to be really, really cheap prices. But it's not just that. The barbecue company Traeger is suffering, but that's just all a malaise. They kill the middle class. So and then they're playing this game too. You're talking about lie, but it's also misleading. So the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates constantly because they say we have inflation, but the Treasury, on the other hand, is screwing around with draining the Treasury, and so Wall Street keeps getting kind of lifted, but Main Street keeps getting higher and higher cost of capital and small businesses. So what a lot of people don't know, 20% of the S&P is cash flow negative. So
which is insane that it's as high as it is right now.
Yeah,
and that these companies are upside down. And they are not making money. And, I just think it's crazy. You guys have been great. Trade Genius has been awesome at, one thing, and I've followed this, is you guys make money if the market's up, if the market's down, or if it's sideways. You guys really have an edge with that. And with this FTX collapse, do you think that that's going to have a huge impact on banks and on everything right now?
Yeah, we don't know where all the demons are hidden on this thing. So it's right now, it's just pulling a string. You notice, FTX collapses, and then you find out that Genesis has issues. Then you find out that somebody else is invested in Genesis. Then you find out that Gemini comes out and says, hey, we're good. Then you find out that they're invested in money, and nobody can get their money out. So as investors get scared or
we're starting to see banks that were affected by that were credit card banks and lenders, and these different, BlockFi went down, and all these other places that were relying on crypto. And again, crypto's worthless without converting it to dollars,
right,
and real money somehow. And it's fascinating that it's fascinating this guy's not in jail right now. It's fascinating that like you said, the string, and not knowing where that's going to lead. It's the world's largest sweater that's unraveling.
Yeah. Well, that guy's he's protected because he was a funding source for very powerful people. But what's happening here is what I call the crypto derivative market is collapsing right now. So, and there's trades you can make with that. We were short Coinbase, we're short Silvergate Bank, and those are in the crypto space in the stock market. Mara. Right now the miners are producing at negative cash flow.
So they're producing Bitcoin and things like that. They're producing Bitcoin, and it's costing them more than it is to the asset value that's being created.
Yeah, and really the point is for us is that we don't care. I mean, we care, but we don't care because if there's a trade we can do to protect our subscribers, we offer that trade. So we were in a trade last week called UDOW, because it was overvalued. That thing dropped 5%, 6% in 2 days. People made profit off that. So we kind of teach people how they can hedge during this. And so you don't have to do fancy trading with us. You don't have to be shorting the market. You don't have to be doing crazy option trading, derivatives, none of that stuff. We can help you with all that stuff.
I had one subscriber write me after the last time we spoke, and she says, "Oh my God, Bob threw out this bone and we bought it and it went up a ton." So, one thing that I forgot to tell people last time is that you have a podcast also. And it's called Trade Genius. It's on YouTube also.
We do.
And when does that get released?
Yeah, so we do 6 videos a week, 15, 20 minutes talking about really what's happening in the market today. We talk crypto, we talk stock market, we talk derivative market, anything to educate you to become a better investor. And then, then obviously those things are free. And then for people that want to trade, we have our service, as you know.
Yes.
And then what we've done there is we've created a couple of very effective algorithms to help people trade the stock market, crypto market, and futures market. So if you don't mind me doing a quick plug, we have our Christmas specials running now. And we talked to Dan before the Black Friday one, but you can take advantage of the crypto ones. We put the specials on for your guys, for your listeners, so they can take advantage of it. And so by Saturday, you go ahead one of the 6 bundles that we have, so you can either you're a beginner or advanced trader, you can take advantage of those. I'm sure Dan will have the links below for that.
I'll
so take advantage of good prices. We try to price everything so it's affordable for people, and you definitely get your money's worth. What really help you with.
People can communicate with you. It's not just a service. It's not just a bunch of stuff to read. There's a chat room that people can communicate with each other. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, my voice is hoarse every day because I'm literally talking 6 hours a day in our chat rooms.
No,
so,
but I love what you do. I may be up there on this day. Meet me there. Okay. So a couple things. Uranium. Do you think uranium's going to be hot?
Yeah, there's a shortage of uranium. So uranium's going to be fine. Coal's going to be fine. Natural gas is going to be fine.
Well, but there's a shortage of natural gas. A lot of people are having a huge problem right now with these energy bills. I mean, I had over the weekend, I had people write me from Boston talking about how they got letters from their power companies, and the companies are saying that your power bill is going to go from $90 to $360, and it could be a 64% increase. I'm like, wait a second, almost 4.5 times. How do you say it's a 60% increase? So we're seeing crazy things with natural gas, and a lot of people don't have the luxury that we have, that we can sit outside and
it's December, and we could be in short sleeves if we wanted to be.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, but look, the whole energy space is probably still the best place to be next year. But also too, don't discount bonds. So we just had literally an 18% move up in TLT since we talked last.
A lot of when I say older people that have accumulated money, that's something they're familiar with. So bonds, you feel good about if they're in the right space with bonds. That would be a great place to be in the first quarter.
Yeah. So I mean, right now there's a toggle. If you're long energy, you need to be long bonds. They kind of hedge each other out. So, and I'm in long both. So I just trade in and out of size on those to keep from my long-term portfolio. And so TLT, it got down to $92. It's at $109. This in the last 3 weeks. He can't keep pressing the increase in the interest rates, because it's going to cause a problem. It's going to blow up the markets. It's going to blow up the economy. So people are starting to sense that.
Okay.
And if energy goes down, TLT goes up, and that's why you protect yourself long term.
Now, silver mining, and I love silver. I love gold. I love the silver stocks. I love physical metals. How do you feel about silver as a whole right now?
I love it. I was telling you before we got on air yesterday, you had a big pop in silver. In fact, last week it started to pop. I think everybody's sensing the Powell pause. And we had buy signals yesterday on GDXJ, wheat and precious metal. Look at Hecla. I told people before, I don't know if I told people here, Hecla is a U.S.-based silver miner, no political risk, and it just rocketed yesterday. So it's going to be a great opportunity for people to trade it.
Ticker symbol by chance for Hecla?
HL. I own it personally too. So it's a good stock to own. Wheat and precious metal is a good one to own. GDXJ is a good one to own. And another silver stock I like is PAS. However, when silver starts to go, just buy everything, because when silver goes, it really rocks.
You mean the minor stocks
All the
could all
miners.
be good. All the miners will be good. Huh,
Absolutely.
imagine that. Imagine an expert saying that. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. As far as dividend stocks and stuff like that, is there any, do you feel good about Ford? Do you feel good about GM right now? I mean, I personally don't myself.
No.
I think that there's a huge problem with that. So I just whacked my mic. Sorry about that. But when you look at like Tesla and the value of Tesla shares over GM and Ford, I think combined, GM, Tesla's worth more than those two companies combined or something. It's crazy.
Tesla's worth more than every car manufacturer in the world combined, which is absolutely insane. But they're able to keep the price up, so God love them. But for me, the dividend plays that I like are all in the energy space. So,
Okay.
the one that one of my subscribers said today, Bob, this thing keeps on paying me. It's LPG called Dorian. It's a liquid petroleum company. All these pay out dividends. They're all north of 10%. They're really good companies, and the one that I just personally put in my portfolio for long term is a food company. The dividend's not that hot, but I sell calls against it. It's called ADM, Archer Daniels Midland. They're the hedge on food inflation, and I think next year food and energy costs are still going to be higher than what people can afford, and you can sell calls against these positions weekly, and it's almost like giving yourself a free dividend,
Okay.
by doing it. So we teach you how to do that. So I call those trades out too. So ADM's a good one, but anything in the energy space is great. I have shipping companies, believe it or not, shipping companies that ship oil, the tankers, are going to do marvelous in 2023. And when we talk, hopefully we can talk again early next year. I can give you 4 or 5 names you share with your group.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah.
love that.
I'll
love that.
I'll
Now,
throw some freebies
the other
out
thing
you.
is with Powell, you mentioned interest rates. Do you think they're only going to go half a point?
Yes.
And if they do that, if there's no surprise built into this, it's not. But the market will love it because he kept his word and it was status quo. But this is just, I mean, I think that people don't get how bad things are. I think there's a lot of big companies out there that are having a difficult time right now.
Look at Pepsi-Cola just laid off 8% of their corporate staff.
At the holidays.
At the holidays, and they reported fine for their earnings. So companies are worried about the future, and
But
they're going to
also,
cut
it's
back.
not just the soda guys. They own the largest snack food. They're the largest snack food company in the world right now. They own
Right.
more chips and more crap that people buy than anybody else. So,
And that's the last stuff people. Yeah, that's the last stuff people will give up too. So
Right.
just to show you.
So it's fascinating. So you're fond of that, and then what about lithium? What about for the EV car companies? Do you think that that's a positive right now?
Lithium and copper we're constantly being told that they're ready to break out, but they're just not. And I think it's all because of China. So once I think after the Chinese New Year, if the Chinese come off this pandemic and they open up their economy, then I think you're going to see copper, you're going to see lithium go. We had some nice trades on FCX, which is a copper company. BTU still a good trade for people to get into. Thing about BTU, they got rid of all their debt. So their next earnings report they're going to have in January, they're going to be able to buy back shares. So that's a freebie for you guys. But don't buy it just yet. Maybe in a day or two, it's going to come back up on an upcycle.
Say that one again. What was the ticker symbol?
BTU.
BTU.
But
Okay.
stay away from lithium and copper in general until probably February, till we see what happens with the Chinese opening back up again. They're playing a game right now, and they're just whipping the commodities all over the place. So, but BTU, we don't have enough coal. Chinese, the Indians, England, Germany, they're buying all the coal that can be produced around the world.
Yeah, but England it was just announced that they're officially in a recession. But like I said in yesterday's video, if you talk to these people in England, they've been in a recession all year long. It's funny. 2 down quarters of GDP, you're in a recession. That's what happened in Mexico. They're in a recession. With us, it's not. It's a growth recession. It's your friend's recession. It's all these names that they want to call it, but it's ridiculous. Now, the one thing I want to ask you about is, as I started with my theme this morning with the video of, is your bank safe? How do you feel about that? Do you believe in having multiple banks, multiple brokerage accounts? Do you believe in things like that to make sure your money's safe?
Yeah, and you were referencing Wells Fargo. I personally have my business accounts with Wells Fargo. I've not had any issues. you have to have multiple accounts if you go over the FDIC limits or you go over the SIPC limits. Those are issues. With brokerages, I'm not too worried about because you can always quickly just move your cash into a short-term treasury bond, and then you can avoid any. And the reason why people worry about these things is because just like you're selling the cryptos blow up, if banks get backwards on their loan to withdrawals, they run into the same problem. That's called the run on a bank, obviously. But you can avoid that in brokerage accounts by just flipping over to treasuries, and you can actually even do that if you set your bank up right and you get a brokerage account with your bank. You can take your cash and you can roll it into a treasury there too. So those are things that if you have a lot of money, a lot of cash sitting around, that's what you need to do. And you obviously can't put it in a mattress.
We've got a lot of both ends of the spectrum in the audience, and we've got a lot of people that are just getting started and they're paying down their debt and they're getting rid of their debt and now they want to invest. And this coming year that they're going to want to put money away. Where do you recommend that people start too? Is there a place that you would have people start with just a few $1,000?
Yeah, we actually talked about that this morning in our room. So everything's relative. So when you think about growing your portfolio, don't think in dollar amount, think in terms of percentages. So if you have a $5,000 account, look, if you can make 1% to 2% a week, you're making 100% a year, Dan.
Yeah.
So even if you cut that in half or cut that into quarters, that's better than what you can make doing anything else with your money. So you could buy, because you don't have to pay any commission now with stock trading. So you can buy 25 shares of something or 50 shares of something and let it go up 15, 20 cents and sell it. Because the point is you want to keep leveraging what you're winning.
Yes.
And
but
so
people want to see, they want to spend $1,000 and make 50, and that's just not the way it works. And
right.
And but I love your methodology. I always appreciate the advice, but I'm excited that you gave everybody your podcast too, because I felt bad last time that you were on and I forgot to mention that. So
no, thank you.
So Trade Genius, I'll have the information below if anybody's interested in that. But take a look at Bob's podcast, also Trade Genius on YouTube. And anything you want to close with?
No, I mean, in the comments, let us know what you want me to talk about. I'm happy to talk about anything, and I'm just really here to support Dan.
One thing I'm really lucky with, and I've told people in the audience that have followed me for a few years now, is I really have this great network of really great business people, and I've got people that raise money, people that know stocks, people that know trading, and it's just every aspect of business, whether it's marketing, whether it's the legal side of it, a little bit of everything. So, but I always appreciate your expertise, and I always try to get a little bit more out of you every time. So, but thank you, sir. And it's awesome to have Bob on, and let us know your questions, guys. Okay?
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for listening. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Well,
Hey guys, as Bob and I were finishing up and we're walking to the car, I kept bringing up things, and he's like, well, let's get this on camera. So a couple things. Bank of Canada, for the first time ever, is losing money. $522 million. They just announced a loss.
Yeah, and our Federal Reserve is losing hundreds of billions of dollars now. So we're in big trouble here. And that's part of the problem they're going to have. With the more he raises interest rates, the more the Treasury loses. Well, guess who's funding the Federal Reserve right now? You and I, Dan.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing is there's a thing called a trigger rate for mortgages in Canada, where all these people that have these variable rate loans, they're in huge trouble. And all of these people, there's basically 600,000 people that could basically lose their homes because they won't be able to afford the next adjustment.
Yeah, Canadian real estate's in big trouble. For those who are in Canada, we're not telling you anything you don't know, but first of all, Canadian real estate went up much higher than even in the United States. And the United States, we're very lucky because we have the Fannie Mae programs. And so there's a lot of fixed rate mortgages in the U.S., but in other places around the world, they don't have that. And as interest rates go up, their costs go up. Yeah, well, at the worst possible time.
In the UK, they've got this problem where, and people have tried to explain it to me, but man, it's debilitating if you sit there and you get these figures and these payments that can go up so quickly, and they're saying that the average person in the UK, that their payment could go up $1,000.
Yeah, I
a
mean,
month.
you guys watch A Wonderful Life. That's
Mhm.
exactly what's happening. So people, they can't afford their homes anymore. And like places like Illinois, the property taxes go up too.
Wow.
So, so you get hit with a double whammy here: interest rates and taxes and insurance.
Yeah, and one other
So
thing that's happening is it was just announced all the store credit cards. The average store credit card has hit 30%.
yeah,
Isn't that crazy when you think about that?
immoral.
And the thing that got me to turn back around was your story about SoFi, because SoFi is a lender that does basically a hard money lender. You want to refinance things, you go to SoFi, but they're in huge trouble right now.
Yeah, just look at their stock; it's collapsing, and so they're actually what's called unsecured creditors.
Let's
So
turn this way,
they have
just so we
high
can
they have high interest rates, and so they try to outrun the defaults.
Mhm.
Well, guess what? The defaults are catching up with them. And look at companies like Carvana too.
Carvana's a mess.
Carvana's gone. I don't know who's going to buy those glass buildings, but they make an awesome condo.
You know what the greatest thing about that? I covered this a couple times on the channel. Twice I covered this, and that was at the Pomona Fairgrounds. They built one of those car vending machines,
Yeah.
never got a building permit for it, and built that entire structure and told them they were going to do auto storage, thinking it was going to be like a car lot, and built that structure.
That's
Isn't
crazy.
that crazy? And never got a
Insane.
permit. So did they do that anyplace else? So
Well, I know they have one in Long Beach.
Yeah.
You've seen that one. Yeah.
I've seen the one in Westminster too. So
Yeah, that's the one. I'm gonna turn it into a condo.
okay, guys, please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out Trade Genius. Check out the link below, and always, guys, write me at hello@iallegedly.com, and let me know what you guys want to see next. Okay, onward and upward, and I will see you guys very soon.
Thank you.